So today, this video is going to be about what is folk magic and what is it to be a folk witch. Um, so I myself am a folk magic practitioner, and I also consider myself to be a folk witch. So I want to share with you guys some of my own personal knowledge from my own grimoire, which is also is known as grimoire, but it's not a book of shadows, and it's called a book of folk magic, and it is mine. And then on the inside, I have a protection spell written in Thebian, or known as the Witch's Alphabet. And so, also, right here on the front page, I have written what is folk magic. So, with that said, let me continue. Folk magic is generally folk magic generally of a practical nature. It is meant to address the common illnesses of the community. Healing the sick, bringing love or luck, driving away evil forces, finding lost items, bringing a good harvest, granting fertility, reading omens, and so on. Rituals are generally relatively simple and they tend to change because of the witch tends to evolve and learn. So does their rituals. So there's not really a set amount of rituals. So it's very flexible depending on your tradition and so on and so forth like that. So that is what folk magic is. Now, some very common forms of folk magic, especially in the South, you'll find honey jars, which a honey jar is to make someone sweet to you. A honey jar is a bottle spell used to make someone kind or sweet to you. So like it says, there's honey in it. I actually have my own recipe right here for it. And that's one thing because that brings love or a form of it to you. Oh, sorry, my phone went off there, and I'll address that in a second. So another thing that I have is actually a love potion in my own recipe. And I want to make clear a honey jar is not a love spell. It is just to make somebody nice to you or develop a crush on you. A love jar would be a little bit more deep, and so yeah, they're not the same. This love potion, though, is to make someone really infatuated with you, and it's also to bring love to you. Another thing in folk magic that you'll see are poppets, and a poppet or doll are used in sympathetic magic. It is used to represent a person in your represent a person in your practice, or it is used to play host to a spirit, either forcibly or peacefully. And really, you just make a poppet, which I tell people how to do it right there. And I'll share some of these later on. And then another thing is back to another love spell that I have. This one is actually one that you actually eat to actually make you love yourself, and also to really just cleanse yourself and start anew with love. And it's actually my own applesauce recipe. So that right there is where my kitchen or cottage witch comes out through there. Another thing for a folk witch, I actually have a sea witch spell. It's my own. It's very dark. It's a curse. So it's actually a dark hex because to me a hex is a powerful spell, and it tends to do things 6 times. I don't know why I did 3 there, but 3 times 2 is 6. So there we go. Maybe that's what I was going with. Who knows? Now, let's really go back a bit and try to talk about what a folk witch is. Now, a folk witch is a person, male or female, that has taken upon the role to aid the community. Now, aid it can come in 2 different lights. If somebody crosses me, I will teach them a lesson not to. So that's where my darker curses and hexes go through. It's also my job to protect my community. So a folk witch is the healer. It is also the protector. And we take a very gray stance on things where we predominantly use our powers to help people, we also use them at times to really sway the other way. So honestly, there is no light or dark magic here. It is really perception and how we view how we should do things. I myself use spirit working quite a bit. I actually have bound myself to the spirit world, and it is through the spirit world I get my power, my craft. I ask spirits to help me, or I just really draw upon that spiritual energy as a whole. So, with that said, I'm going to end the video here. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave in the message box or whatever box below. Sorry, I'm kind of late here. Also, if you are a member of my coven watching this, by all means, please message me via Skype or on Psalm. I'm Chan Gray, for those who don't know yet. And well, I hope you all have a great night, morning, day, evening, afternoon, depending on where you are. And with that said, have a good one.